Hello and Grüß Gott. On this video, we're going to show you how to install a processor or CPU onto a desktop board. In this case, it's a Intel Core i5 processor. It's a 3450 Ivy Bridge, and we're going to be installing it on a Intel DZ68BC Extreme Series board. To do this, you're going to need to have an anti-static mat and the proper grounding for the anti-static mat, which goes to a nearby AC outlet, and it goes onto the ground part, nothing else. And then you're going to need some heat compound. Of course, you're going to need the chip, and you're going to need some cooling fans. And so here in a second, we're going to get started. Want to make sure you wear your safety glasses when you're doing this. And also, if you are doing this and you already have the board in a CPU chassis or a desktop box, make sure you don't plug in that box. We don't want you to get electrocuted. So you want to do all this without any power on the board or any ancillary components. So the first thing we're going to do is open up the box and see what's inside. When you open the box, you're going to find inside the board's going to be packed in anti-static wrap, such as this one. This forms a Faraday shield over the board to protect it from electrons, basically, from static. Anything in nature has static around it, and when you rub on something, you get a charge. It's called triboelectric charging, and that can discharge onto this and either may damage it immediately, or the damage may not be apparent for several months, and it may lead to an early failure on the board. So you always want to protect it by keeping it in this anti-static wrapper and then handling it carefully. So right now I have a wrist strap on, and it's grounded to my anti-static mat, and my mat itself is grounded to the AC outlet. So I'm going to take the board out, and I'm going to set it down on the mat, and I'll show you what we're going to do next. Okay, to get started, what we're going to do is we're going to open up the socket, just like that, and you're going to take the chip and holding it by the sides only, not touching the pins, and making sure you're properly grounded. You're going to install it into the socket. There's two locator keyways, and it should just sit right on top of the socket and with the solder ball side down. And now you're going to close the socket cover, and when you latch it into place, the little plastic protective cover comes right off, and now that is complete. So now you're ready to install your heatsink. At this point, we're about ready to install heatsink compound, but before you do that, you want to clean off the CPU chip. So we're using some 91% IPA, isopropyl alcohol, and a Kleenex, and just carefully wiping the top. And also we're going to clean the mating surface on the fan cooling unit. So we're going to do that, and then we'll show you what we're going to do next. Now we're ready to install the heatsink compound. It comes in like a little small syringe, and we're just going to put a line down the center of the CPU. There's different ways to do this, but you want to make sure you don't get it gooing over the edges, and you really don't need much because it's going to spread out on its own. And so this is one of the most commonly recommended methods, just like you see here. All right, the last thing we're going to do now is we're going to install the CPU fan assembly. So this is one of the kinds that you put in with a push pin assembly. So you just line it up, and then you just push down on the pins, and it should pop into place. So we're going to do that, and that's all there is to this. And thanks for watching. Tschüss.